The emergency alert pierced through the quiet of Deep Space Station Helios Ithosht home, echoing through the titanium. Reinforced corridors. Commander Sarah Chin was already moving before thickened tone could sound her practice steps carrying her swiftly to the command center. The artificial gravity cowled, quite mask her athletic grace, a testament to her upbringing on Earth's heavy gravity report. She ordered sliding Ginto, her command chair. The hollow screen before her blazed to life, displaying a cascade of urgent data. Lieutenant Rodriguez, his dark eyes reflecting the emergency lights, spoke quickly but clearly. We're picking up a distress signal from the Centu Nebula restricted zone. It's the Luminarch research station. Paused, swallowing hard there, caught in a Class 5 plasma storm. Chun's jaw tightened. The Luminarch station was home to over 300 Atheron scientist crystally beings whose delicate forms could shatter under the wrong atmospheric conditions. A plasma storm would cook them alive in their own bodies. Show me the storm's parameters, she commanded the hall screen, shifted displaying a massive swirling vortex of deadly energy. Even at this distance their sensors struggle to maintain a clear reading through the electromagnetic interference. Therian High Council has already declared it a lost cause. Rodriguez continued, his voice bitter. Their ships can't handle those conditions. The plasma would tear through their shields in seconds. Chen leaned forward, studying third outs carefully. What about the Ice-class ships? The command center felt silent. The Ice-class rescue vessels were humanity's newest achievement in spacetravel ships, specifically designed to operate in conditions that would destroy most vessels. Their revolutionary plasma fusion shields and reinforced hulls were built to withstand exactly this type of catastrophe. They're untested in real combat conditions, her chief engineer, Dr. PTO, reminded her from his station. The simulations looked promising, but he let the words hang in the air. Chon straightened in her chair. Those simulations were based on conditions twice as severe as what we see in Haresh. Tapped her console, bringing up the crew roster. How quickly can we have the HS Prometheus ready for launch? 3 hours. Spadel replied without hesitation. We'll need to reinforce the backup generator. San double-check the shield harmonics. Chen nodded, her decision already made. Make it to contact Earth Command and request emergency deploy Menathorosian. Tell them, she paused, choosing her words carefully, tell them humanity has a chance to prove we're more than just the galaxy's scary Deathworlders. As her crew burst into action around her, Chen pulled up the original distress, signaled the Eon's crystalline voices, translated through the computer, carried both fear and dignity to any ships within range. We are 342 souls aboard the Luminarch station. Our shields are failing. The storm, we cannot survive much longer. Please help us. Chen closed her eyes for a moment, remembering the first time she'd met an Itherian diplomat. They'd been terrified of her awful humans, creatures who could survive conditions that would destroy most sentient species. Deathworlders, they us. But maybe, she thought, opening her eyes to watch her crew prepare. 4th rescue mission, that's exactly why we're needed. The next 2 hours were a blur of activity. The HSS Prometheus, pride of humanity's rescue fleet, Kamalev under the skilled hands of its crew, its massive form, nearly twice the size of standard rescue vessels, gleamed under the station's lights as final checks were completed. As Chen strode through the ship's corridors toward the bridge, she could feel the subtle vibration of the engines through thick plates. The crew she passed all wore the same expression of determined focus. They knew the stakes. They understood that this wasn't just about saving livers. It was about showing the galaxy that humanity's strength could be used for more than just survival. The bridge oft Prometheus was a testament to human engineering, hardened displays and reinforced control stations surrounded a central command chair designed to withstand extreme G-forces. Chen settled into it. Feeling the familiar embrace of the safety harness, all stations report readiness. She ordered her voice, carrying the weight of command one by one. Her crew confirmed their stations. Engineering, navigation, medical shield. Each voice, steady, each system. Ready, send a message to the Luminarch station, Chen commanded. Tell them help is coming, tell them she allowed herself a small smile. Tell them the Deathworlders are on their way. The Prometheus's engines roared to life, pushing against their fabric of space itself ahead of them. The plasma storm raged, a maelstrom of deadly energy that would destroy any normal ship, but the Prometheus was not a normal ship, and its crew were not normal spacefarers. They were humans, Deathworlders, and they were about to show the galaxy exactly what that meant. Plasma storm loomed before the Prometheus, like a wall of living fire from the bridge. Commander Chen washed ribbons of energy, twisted and wed, creating patterns that would have been beautiful if they weren't so deadly. The ship's sensors were already registering temperature spikes that would melt standard hull plating. Shield harmonics at maximum. Lieutenant Park announced from the defense station, her fingers dancing across the controls. Plasma diffusion systems online and responding. Chen nodded, her eyes never leaving the main viewport. Take us in helm quarter speed until we verify shield effectiveness. The Prometheus moved forward with deliberate purpose, its massive form approaching the outer edges of the storm. The first tendrils of plasma energy reached up like hungry fingers, testing the ship's defenses. The shield bubble became visible, a shimmering blue barrier that split the deadly energy around them. Shield load at 30%. Park reported within expected parameters. Dr. Patel's voice came over. Kang from engineering, the new diffusion systems are working better than simulations. Predicted. We're successfully converting most of the plasma energy into additional power for the shields. A sudden surge of energy slammed into the ship's starboard side. The deck plates vibrated, but the shield held steady. Chan allowed herself a small smile, human engineering at its finest. Distance to Luminarch station. She asked Rodriguez, consulted his displacer. 40 kilometers through the worst of the storm at current speed. That's about 2 hours of travel time, ma'am. Park interrupted, her voice tensing. Detecting something strange in the plasma patterns ahead. The energy isn't flowing naturally. Chen leaned forward in her chair. Explain, it's like something's creating artificial currents in the plasma. The station's presence might be affecting the storm's behavior before Chin could respond. A massive plasma vortex formed directly in their path. The swirling energy created a tunnel of pure destruction that would tear apart any conventional vessel helm. Full stop. Chen ordered Dr. Patel. I need options. The engineer's response was immediate. The vortex is actually an opportunity, Commander, if we can synchronize our shield frequency with the plasma rotation, we might be able to ride the current. It could cut our travel time in half, and if our timing is off, then we'll be torn apart at the atomic level. Chen considered for a moment. Time was running out for the Etherian scientists, but risking her ship and crew on an untested theory. She thought of the crystalline beings waiting for rescue, their bodies literally cracking under the strain of the storm. Dr. Patel Yehov, 10 minutes to calculate the exact shield frequencies we need. Lieutenant Park, begin shield modifications as soon as you receive the numbers. Everyone else secure for extreme maneuvers. The next 10 minutes were filled with intense activity as the crew prepared for what might be either a brilliant solution or their last mistake. Chin used the time to record a brief message to Earth Command explaining their situation and decision. If something went wrong, at least their attempt would be documented. Calculations Compel, Patel announced, sending shield frequencies to tactical MNAV frequencies received and implemented. Park confirmed shield harmonics, adjusting synchronized with plasma rotation. In 3-2-1, Mark Chen gripped her chair's armrests. Take us in. Helm full power, to forward. Shields, the Prometheus, surged forward into the vortex. For a moment the entire ship shuddered, as if it would shake itself apart. Warning alerts blared across multiple stations. Then suddenly they were through the initial barrier and riding the plasma. Current, like a surfer catching a wave. It's working, Rodriguez exclaimed. We're being carried along the plasma. Flow speed increasing to this can't be right. We're moving at nearly twice our normal maximum velocity. Chen watched as the swirling energy carried them deeper into the storm. The Prometheus's hull sang with the strain but held firm. Human technology built to withstand the harshest conditions. Wasprovine, it's worth new contact. Park's voice cut through the moment of triumph. Multiple plasma anomalies forming around us. The storm, it's almost like it's reacting to our presence. The view through the forward screens confirmed her words. The plasma was sissing into distinct shapes, like massive tentacles of energy reaching for the ship. They had served the vortex only to find themselves in what appeared to be the storm's very heart, where the laws of physics seemed to break down. All hands. Chen's voice rang through the ship's system. Prepare for emergency maneuvers. We just proved we can ride the storm now. Let's show it why humans never learned to fear. The impossible. The Luminarch station emerged from the plasma storm. Like a ghost ship, its crystalline architecture refracting the chaotic energies around it through the Prometheus's forward viewport. Commander Chen could see fracture lines spreading across the station's outer sections. The damage was even worse than they'd feared. Life signs, Chen demanded. Our Region, strapping from her command chair. Rodriguez's fingers flew across his console. 338. Confirmed signatures, all concentrated in the central hub. They've abandoned the outer rings, completely for lost already. Chen pushed the F aside. There would be time for 4 grief later. Open a channel to their command center. The main screen flickered to life, a reveling, a sight few humans had ever witnessed. First Director, Lyra's crystalline form sparkled even through damaged transmission, her faceted body structure catching and splitting light in complex patterns. But Chen could see the stress fractures forming along the director's edges. Clear signs that the environmental systems were failing. This is impossible. Lyra's translated voice carried both hope and disbelief. No ship could survive it. Storm, you can't be real. First Director Lyra, I'm Commander Sarah Chenov. The HS Prometheus, we're here to help. Chen kept her voice steady. Professional. Need to begin evacuation immediately. How many of your people can move? Under their own power. You're human. It wasn't a question. Lose crystalline form. Shifted colors indicating strong emotion. The council said no rescue was possible, that the storm would destroy any ship that tried. The council wasn't accounting for human engineering. Chen replied, or human stubbornness. Director, we don't have much time. Your station's structural integrity is failing. Lyra seemed to gather herself. Yes, of course. We have 200 able to move independently. The others. The temperature fluctuations have caused partial crystallization in their locomotion structures. We'll send in our medical team with portable stasis fields, Chan assured her, but first we need to establish a secure Dr. P. What's our best option? The engineer's voice came through clear and confident. Their station's primary dock is compromised, but I'm detecting a maintenance airlock on the ventral side. That's still structurally sound. We can extend our show bubble to cover a direct transfer corridor. Make it happen, Chen ordered, shettened back to the screen director. Lyra, we'll need your people to gather near the ventral maintenance access. Can you guide them there? Safely, yes, but Lyra hesitated. Should know many of my people have never seen a human before. They've only heard stories. They might be afraid of us, Chen finished. I understand. That's why I'm coming over personally with the first medical team. Sometimes the best way to overcome fear is to face it directly. The next 30 minutes were organized. Chaos as the Prometheus's crew executed their rescue plan. The ship's enhanced shields train Nedto maintain a stable corridor between the vessels, while emergency teams prepared for transfer. Chen stood in Thierlock with the first response team checking the seals on her environmental suit. One final Timur remember, she addressed her. Team, the Etherin are incredibly fragile by our standards. Minimal physical contact and let them set the pace for any interactions. We're here to help, not terrify them further. The airlock cycled and they pushed off into the transfer corridor through her helmet. Chen could see the plasma storm raging against the shield bubble held at bay by human technology. And determination ahead. The maintenance airlock of the Luminarch station waited, its crystalline structure already showing signs of stress fatigue. They found First Director Lyra waiting with a small group of Ons. Up close, the damage was even more. Apparent stress fractures ran through many of their crystalline forms, and some moved with obvious difficulty, but what struck Chen most was their reaction to the human rescue. Temthons drew back instinctively, their forms shifting to defensive configurations. Chen stepped forwardsly, her movements deliberately gentle. Despite the bulky environmental suit, she activated her external speakers. First Director, we have portable stasis units ready for those who need immediate medical attention. With your permission, we'll begin with the most critical homage. Lara moved forward, her crystalline form catching the emergency lights in a cascade of colors. You really came to help us, even knowing the danger, even knowing what we think of your kind. That's what humans do, Chen replied. Simply, we see someone in trouble. We help now. Let's get your people to safety. Something changed in that moment. The fear in the Etherin group, Semeto, dissolved, replaced by cautious hope as the human medical teams moved forward with their equipment. The crystalline beings began to work alongside them, helping to identify those in most urgent need of assistance. Commander Rodriguez's voice came through Chen's school. The storm's intensity is increasing. We're reading massive energy spike shedding our way. Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it fast. Chen looked at hundreds of Etherean, still waiting to be evacuated then, at the approaching wall of plasma energy that threatened to destroy both ships. They were out of time, and they needed a solution that neither humans nor Etherean could achieve alone. She turned to Lyra, Director. I have an idea, but it's going to require your people to trust us completely, and it's going to require us to combine our technologies in a way that's never been attempted before. The massive plasma wave approached, like a wall of liquid fired, warping both the Prometheus and the Luminarch station through the viewport of the station's central control room. Commander. Chen watched as energy readings climbed beyond anything their sensors were designed to measure. The transfer corridor won't hold against that. Dr. Patel's voice crackled through the even with full power to shields looking at complete failure. In less than 10 minutes, Chen turned to First Director Lyra, whose crystalline form now showed visible signs of stress. Director, your station's crystalline architecture eats, designed to channel and redistribute energy, isn't it? Yes, Lee responded her translated voice carrying the of surprise. The entire structure acts as a massive energy conduit, but the plasma levels are too high. It would shatter us not if we combine it with our shield technology. Chen's eyes were bright with intensity. Your station can channel energy, our shields can diffuse it together. Understanding flickered through Lyra's crystalline structure, creating a cascade of colors. You want to use the station itself as a massive shield generator? Better, Chen smiled. I want to turn it into a plasma diffusionary, Dr. Patel, if we route our shield generators through the station's crystalline matrix, could we create a large enough field to protect both ships? There was a moment of silence as the engineer ran calculations theoretically. Yes, but the power requirements would be enormous, and the station systems would need to perfectly synchronize with ours autonomous calculation, and the feedback would destroy both vessels. It would require direct neural interface with our system. Added one of my people would need to physically connect with your shield generators. The pain, it would be considerable. I will do it. The new voice came from a younger Etherean who stepped forward, their form still mostly free of stress fractures. Spark of the engineering cast. I have studied human technology, though most called it a waste of time. Chen looked at the volunteer, recognizing the same determination Chiffon saw in her own young officers. You understand the risks. This has never been attempted before. Understanding the unknown is why we are scientists, Spark replied, and trust must begin somewhere. Time seemed to compress as they put higher, desperate plan into action. The Prometheus's engineering team worked frantically to modify their shield generators, while Etherean technicians prepared their stations. Crystal Matrix Spark was connected to both systems, their crystalline form trembling slightly as they processed the massive data flows. Wave impact in 2 minutes. Rodriguez reported from the Prometheus shields failing on multiple sections. All non-essential power routed to the main shield. Generator pole added. We're ready on our end. Chen looked at Spark, who is no glowing with internal energy. Are you ready? Integration is uncomfortable. Spark managed through the translation system, but holding crystal matrix aligned with shield harmonics, ready to initiate on your command. Chen took a deep breath. Begin power transfer. Take it slow. We need perfect synchronization. The effect was immediate and stunning. Those crystalline walls began to pulse with blue white energy, and as the Prometheus's shield technology merged with the Etherean energy distribution network, Spark's form blazed like a star as they channeled the combined power through their consciousness. Energy synchronization at 60%, 75%, 90%. Patel's voice was tense with concentration. Full integration. Achieve it. Plasma waves struck with the force of a solar flare. The combined shield, fluorescent visibility. A massive dome of crystalline energy patterns that bent and redirected the deadly plasma around both vessels inside the station. Every crystalline surface sang with power. Shield holding Rodriguez called out. Theta fusion pattern is it's beautiful. The plasma is being split and channeled through the crystal matrix, bleeding off its destructive potential. But Chen could see the strain it was taking. Spark's form was vibrating. Danger. Dangerously stressed lines appearing across their surface. The young Etherean was pushing themselves to the absolute limit to maintain the connection between the two technologies. Power fluctuation in the main crystal matrix, Patel warned. We're losing coherence in sections 5 through 8. Route through the auxiliary crystals, Lyra ordered, her own form glowing as she connected to our station systems. All Etherean, lend your strength to the matrix. Nell, your energy through Spark. What happened next would be talked about in both human and Ian space for generations to come. The crystalline beings throughout the station began to glow, creating a network of living light that pulsed in harmony with the shield technology. They were no longer separate entities, but parts of a greater age, contributing their energy to the survival of all. Matrix stabilizing, Podol reported, awe in his voice. Power levels evening out the shield. It's not just holding, it's getting stronger. Through it all, Chen watched as human technology and Ian biology worked in perfect synchronization, turning what should have been certain death into something miraculous. The plasma wave that should have destroyed them was being transformed into pure energy, feeding back into their combined shields and making them stronger. Wave intensity dropping, Rodriguez announced. After what seemed like hours, we're through the worst of it. Shield integrity at 95%. And holding as the immediate danger passed. Chen looked at Spark, who was slowly returning to their normal luminescence. The young Etherean form showed new stress patterns. But their voice, when it came through the translator, carried only pride. It seemed Spark said quietly that there is much our peoples could learn from each other. Chen smiled, looking around at the Humansand Etherin, who had worked together to achieve the impossible. I believe that's something we can all agree on. 1 month after the Luminarch rescue, Commander Sarah Chen stood before the Galactic Council chambers, her dress uniform pristine as she faced the assembled representatives of 100 spacefaring species. The massive chamber, with its soaring crystalline arches, seemed designed to make individuals feel sweaty-powed. Chen stood tall, conscious of the significance of this moment. The rescue of the Luminarch station, the council speaker, holographic form announced, has forced us to reevaluate many long-held assumptions about human involvement in galactic affairs. Cohn's gaze drifted. Toughed Etherean delegation, where First Director Lyra and Engineer Spark sat among their peers. The stress fractures from their ordeal had healed, leaving bent patterns that their people now viewed as marks of honor. What was initially seen as a limitation, humanity's evolution on a high-gravity, high-danger world, proved to be the very thing that enabled this unprecedented rescue. The speaker continued, Commander Chin, your actions and those of your crew have demonstrated that there is more to being the Deathworlder than we previously understood. Chen stepped forward to address the council. With respect, Speaker, we never viewed our physical capabilities as a limitation. Humanity evolved to face challenges, to adapt, to protect not just ourselves, but others. The Prometheus and her crew didn't succeed just because of our technology or our physical resilience. We succeeded because we refused to accept that 338 lives were beyond saving. Shegestrud to the data display hovering above the chamber. The shield integration technology we developed with Thectorin is just the beginning already. Our scientists are working together on new applications. Colonies that were considered too dangerous to establish might now be possible. Rescue operations that were thought impossible could become routine. Spark rose from their seat, their crystalline form catching their chamber's light. If I may speak, at the speaker's acknowledgement, they continued, bore the rescue. I study human technology despite the ridicule of my peers. I was fascinated by a speciest turned their harsh evolution into a force for creation rather than destruction. During the crisis, experienced firsthand the truth about humans. They are not dangerous because they are strong. They are remarkable base of how they choose to use that strength. Murmurs ran through the chamber as other representatives began to speak up. A Venusian windwriter described how human deep-sea technology had helped them explore gas giant atmospheres. A Helen physicist explained how human radiation shielding had revolutionized their solar research. The council speaker raised their appendages for silence. It seems we have been presented with clear evidence that our previous policies regarding human involvement in galactic affairs require significant revision. Commander Chen, the council has a proposal for you. Chen straightened, curious. I'm listening, Speaker. We wish to establish a new division within the Galactic Emergency Response Force 1, specifically staffed by human crews and ships working in conjunction with other species technical experts. Your experience with the Luminarch rescue has shown us that there are situations where human capabilities are not just useful but essential. The Prometheus and her crew would be honored to help. Establish such a division, Chen replied, on one occasion. The speaker tilted their head, and that would be that we recognizeth this as a true partnership, humanity's physical capabilities and technology are rituals, nothing more. It's the combination of different species' strengths that Medethi Luminat rescue. Possible we don't want to be seen as the galaxy's emergency solution, we want to be seen as part of the galactic community, a wise condition, the speaker agreed. One that shows precisely why this initiative is so important. Let it be recorded that today the term Deathworlder is officially retired from Council documentation. Henceforth Earth and its people will be recognized as full partners in galactic civilization. Later, as Chen stood in one of the Council Station's observation lounges, watching ships come and go through the nearby worm gate, she heard crystalline chimes that announced Ian movement spark approach their form glowing softly in the starlight. I've been assigned as the primary liaison to the new Emergency Response Division. They announced it seems my wasteful interest in human technology has become a valuable qualification. Chen smiled, looking forward to working together, though hopefully with less plasma storms this time. Indeed, spark form shifted through thoughtful colors. You know, there's an old Etherian saying, the strongest crystal is formed under the greatest pressure. Perhaps the same is true of relationships between species. We have a similar saying on Earth, Chen replied, diamonds are made under pressure. Maybe our peoples aren't so different after all. Together human and Etherian watch stars, no longer separated by fear or prejudice, but united by understanding. The true strength lies not in the capabilities we possess, but in how we choose to use them. In the decades that followed the site of human rest, SK ships working alongside alien vessels would become common throughout the galaxy. The term Deathworlder evolved from a fearful whisper to a mark of respect, and the story of the rescue was taught in schools across 1,000 worlds, not just as a tale of survival, but as the moment when the galaxy learned that the greatest power any species can possess is the will to help others.